Talon number 12, written by James Tynion IV, art by Emanuel Simeone, I believe. So, last issue we had basically a whole lot of build up towards, hey, here's Bane, he's making his way to the mainland, and also it seems like he's going to be involved in Forever Evil. This one kind of just ignores that to the point where I think they're actually writing around a couple of plot holes they created. Anyway, we pick up in 1852 at Haley Circus, where we see a strongman is holding an entire train engine above an audience, and then he just smiles and lets it go. And it's immediately obvious this is Felix Harmon, the butcher, Talon. So over the Caribbean Ocean, we see a bunch of bat bots, some drones flying over the water where they believe Santa Prisca should be, and they are reporting back, we're at the coordinates. There's no trace of the island. There's no trace of the warships. Something's wrong. So deep beneath the Gotham Public Library, where the Court of Owls had their little stronghold, we see Calvin Rose and Batman breaking in, and Calvin's like, they should be here. I don't know why they're not. And Batman's like, yeah, they wiped the place clean. They knew you were coming. Also, I think this is for you. And he points to the note on the wall, written in blood from Felix saying, you're next. So another flashback, we see the Court of Owls enlisting Felix. They say like, yes, we need someone strong right now to be our newest Talon. So we choose you. And obviously they're supposed to be stealthy, but Felix is just not. So he goes around and basically openly kills whoever it is he wants. And at one point we see that they are told, or he is told, hey, we've got problems with this person. They run a orphanage. You got to go take care of the head of the orphanage. And he's just like, fair enough. So then we cut to modern day, and the Court of Owls is talking to Felix via like monitors, and they're like, dude, you are too insane. We're not dealing with you. I put a bomb in your head and I'm going to blow it up now. Bye. And clicks the button. And Felix is like, I do believe a couple issues ago I took out those bombs. Tee-hee. Now what are you going to do? And he's like, click. And he just turns off the monitor. Immediately Felix starts tearing through all the other Talons that are holding him prisoner. And he basically tells him like, look, rest of the Court of Owls, I'm done being a stooge. I've been out for a century. I've got some work to catch up on. So next we cut back to Wayne Enterprises, where Lucius Fox is essentially helping out the entire gang. He was told by Batman, like, hey, these guys, they've been through a lot. Could you help them out? Especially Casey here. She's missing an arm and an eye. So do whatever you can. And we see Lucius is making a prosthetic arm, basically, for Casey. So Casey's recovering in a hospital room, and Lucius is showing her the mock-ups, the little hologram of the prosthetic arm. And Calvin's like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him for you, for everything he did. And Casey just smacks him upside the head and just be like, okay, enough of that. You got to pull yourself together, man. The biggest thing here is my daughter. I don't care what happens to him. We will get to him eventually. You need to find Sarah now. And he's just like, on it. I can do that. Peace. So he is about to leave, and then all of a sudden, window crashes open, and one of the guys is thrown through, and he's just like, hey, Batman's here. He wants to talk to you. So Calvin goes out to talk to Batman. Meanwhile, Lucius is like, hey, your father was the one that like designed some of his stuff based off of my work. I've taken those designs back and I have improved them. And Casey's like, nowhere near good enough, old man. Let me show you how it's done. So she starts planning her own prosthetic. Meanwhile, Batman and Calvin, basically this is the part where I think this is where we're covering plot holes, is Batman chews out Calvin and says, dude, if you didn't run from me back when we first met, this all would have been solved by now. And he's like, right, I get it. Sorry, I'm a crappy superhero. Anyway, tell me about Bane. Tell me what he's up to. What's going on? And Batman's like, yeah. So Santa Prisca is gone and his warships are gone and I don't know where he is. And all I'm detecting is some chronal energy. And the reason I think that's kind of weird is because over in the Batman or Forever Evil Arkham war book, Bane just shows up as normal. There's no mention of any chronal energy or anything. So I think that they kind of didn't they didn't talk and they didn't realize, oh, wait, Bane can't possibly be here and also be leaving for Forever Evil at the same time, because that would mean Batman should be dead and Forever Evil should be happening. But that's not part of the story. So oopsie. Anyway, they basically says, all right, so what are we doing now? And Batman says, look, here's the thing. I'm going to help you. I'm going to assist you in saving Sarah and taking out this butcher guy and the Court of Owls in general. I'm all for it. But you are too dangerous. You are still a Talon. You have too much in you. If you step out of line even a little bit, I'm throwing you into a cryotube in Blackgate. This is your last mission. So we then cut back to 1862 again, to when the butcher has to take care of that orphanage, the head of the orphanage, and a young boy gets out of bed, hearing a noise, sneaks into the head of the house's room, finds her bloodied and destroyed, and Felix just standing there like, well, guess I can't hide it now. And so he kills every single person in the boy's house and then sets fire to it. And that is the night that it was no longer a Talon. He became the Gotham Butcher in the lore of Gotham. So at that point, we see the boy's house nowadays. It's all grown over with plants. Felix makes his way inside and he hears a voice talking to him saying ah, yes, you were a whole chapter in the book I read. You burned this house down to the ground and killed everyone inside. And Felix is like, not in that order. And as we see, turns out this is Sebastian Clark. He's still alive. He's still here. And he's like, yeah, I made a lot of plans to take down the Court of Owls and none of them worked. So how would you like to work with me? And Felix is like, what do you have to offer that I can't possibly do on my own? And he's like, oh, well, I've got something simple but totally elegant, and it's something that's really going to make the world see your talents. And he's like, all right, I'm listening. Tell me what's going on. And basically, in the end, the plan, as Sebastian Clark throws out, is like, yep, we're going to take out everything the Court of Owls cares about, and that is Gotham City as a whole. Let's kill Gotham City. So that's the book. It felt more like an interstitial issue to me. Again, it felt like we were covering plot holes. It felt like there was the stuff that we were building up to with Bane and Forever Evil, and then I think there had to be basically a transitionary point where we couldn't use Bane anymore. And obviously we have the Butcher this whole time, but I think the original idea, just how I was feeling it was going to end up with Bane versus the Butcher, because obviously they're very similar in a lot of ways. And obviously Bane would come out on top, but it felt like that was the way the story was moving. But because Bane is now locked in an event, we have to change that. Long time ago, years ago actually, I did talk to Tynion about this, and essentially he didn't want to use Bane in the story in the first place, but editorial said, nah, you need some bigger actual Bat characters in your book, so put him in there. So I feel like at this point they're just dicking him around, which, yeah, they kind of are. But it's still, he's doing the best of it. I think there is some good surprises here. It's cool that we got Batman working with Calvin now, because Batman, of course, has to be in one of these books eventually. So I'm going to say this is probably a solid, I'm going to say 6.5, just because it's an interstitial. If this had more plot to it, I think it might have gotten 7.5, but it is just lacking a little bit because it feels like a completely skippable issue in general. It's just moving some pieces around so we can get to the next part of the plot. So yeah, still good, just not great.